About a year ago, I was helping people in my business with hypnosis. We were working on setting better boundaries and doing more self care and exploring and decreasing some of the stress that was kind of going on in their lives. And I was having great results. I was working with wonderful people, and everybody was kind of happy. And I got together with a friend of mine and she kind of kicked me in the butt a little bit and said, why aren't you living your truth? Why aren't you doing what really fills you up? And she knew that what I had been doing on the sidelines is working with people and their animals. And she heard me talk about the success and the things that were happening with animals. And she saw me light up in a way she'd never seen me light up before. And she kind of said, like, why aren't you helping people with their animals more? At that point, I was just kind of helping friends. And she was right. I really sat down and I looked at the work that I was doing and also the work that I had been doing for the past 20 years, working with animals in a physical and sort of energetic way. And I looked at all that I had learned. And that's what I knew, that what I was doing with my friends and their animals was successful because of all the years of experience that I'd had and bringing that kind of forward and my love of animals. And I sat and I thought, and if any of you have watched on my Instagram page my story video, you'll know that the reason why I kind of started with this technique with animals that I do now was actually as a bit of a payback, a way to pay those animals that have graced my life and given me so much in my lives. It was a way to kind of pay back animals for the help and assistance they've given me throughout my life and helped me through some uh, really challenging times. And I wanted to find a way to give back to animals. And I found it. And so when my friend said, "Hey, this is kind of what you should be doing," she was right. And I dove in. And about a year ago, started really working with people and their animals in the way that I do, using animal surrogate hypnosis. And the results have been phenomenal. It has been possibly my best year to date, in helping animals and people at the same time. It's what I was born to do. I know that. And I know that what I do is not for everyone. That's totally fine with me. I had to kind of get over that people pleasing idea of I had to do something that everybody would gravitate to. And that's not the case. What I do works. I know it. My clients know it. And when they come to me ready for this kind of work to help their animals, we make miraculous changes. Things like the dog who was terrified to get him out from underneath the bed and is now enjoying um, shopping trips to Walmart with her person, to the horse that couldn't be touched, now loves to snuggle, to the cats who were constantly fighting and now snuggle on the couch together. To the llama who had to have eye drops put in his eyes and had never really been handled before, to the bunnies. I just helped make this incredible bunny enclosure for themselves, this new bunny super home that's being built for them. And I know in my future lies some work with perhaps a python who we want him to have a better relationship with those animals that are around him. So that's kind of interesting. And when I kind of looked this morning over the course of the year at all those animals that came and and participated, and those people who came and participated, wanting to help their animals in a way, wanting to learn how they were interacting with their animals and their stress and the things that were kind of going on in their lives were kind of affecting their animals, and how their animals were actually teaching something really valuable to people. I'd get emails from people who said, like, I had somebody stop me in the parking lot and ask me what I did because I was glowing. And it's just because together we worked to help her horse. And in the meantime, she helped herself and helped her stress level. To the people I have coming up to me saying, my horse is no longer trampling me or charging me or trying to bowl me over, and people are asking me what I did, and I happen to say to them, all I did was learn to set better boundaries at work. And they kind of look at her a little strange and walk away thinking she's a little crazy, but it helped her horse. To the other dogs, the dogs that come with kind of leash reactivity, and we kind of look at their message, and it's kind of about the stress and the anxiety that their person is actually holding regarding leash aggression. Maybe they had a dog in the past that was leash aggressive, and now they were kind of worried about that happening again. Or people with cat. I had one woman with a cat whose cat was using part of her house as a litter box, and it was a message about learning to set boundaries. You guessed it, at work. so so many animals have graced, hundreds of animals have graced my life this past year, and their people, and it has been my extreme honor and pleasure to be a part of their healing in just some way, and it just fills me up. Helping people understand relationship and how animals want to be in relationships, not necessarily the same way humans want to be in relationship, and learning how to honor and respect and understand that just loving your animal doesn't mean that you have a great relationship. And so helping people discover that, decode the messages that their animals are giving them, because you see, animals are like teachers in our lives, and when we kind of jump in and really embrace that whole idea of what do they have to show me, what do they have to teach me, how can I improve, and by my improvement help them. Like, a couple of people have come to me worried and sort of not terrified, anxious about riding their horse again after having an accident, and realizing that they were holding on emotions about that accident just like their horse was. And when we work together for both them and the horse, they're now out riding, enjoying themselves, um, like they're kids again, basically. And to the horse who couldn't be left alone, couldn't be on his own without his herd, and would scream and carry on if he had to be brought into the barn and put in a stall by himself, to now he just hangs out in his stall just eating, doesn't matter where his herd is. You see, that was all about his person's own anxiety about being on their own or being asked to do things on their own to some extent. So you see, when we work together and we look at these messages and we help our animals, we can actually honor them. To the animals and the people that I worked with who were in profound grief and guilt over the loss of an animal and the way that kind of went down and the decisions they had to make, and we worked with that animal who's already transitioned and passed over, and allowed the two of them to have these experiences together and heal those wounds so that they could then connect with the animals in their lives that were physical in their lives. You see, sometimes we have to work through that grief with our animal that's already on the other side, and we can do that. And these are kind of remarkable transitions that I have witnessed. And even at the beginning, when I started working with animals, I was like, is this really going to work? And the first animal I worked with was a cat who had been frozen to the driveway in a storm and was near death. And while the veterinarian care was impeccable and was doing its job, there was just this last little piece of healing that that cat needed to do. It was a feral cat, not even connected to the person that found him, but with that help of the person, that loving help who cared for that cat during this healing process, with her help and my process, we prevented that cat from losing its tail. Even the vet said, I don't know what you did, but he no longer has to have his tail removed. You see, these are remarkable things, helping people, helping dogs who are terrified of fireworks and thunderstorms suddenly watch a thunderstorm through the window or sleep right through the fireworks. These are things that I had the honor and privilege of being a part of this year. And whether people worked with me in a workshop or in my boot camp, relationship boot camp, or they worked with me one-on-one, we had success. Was it 100% success for everyone? Of course not. No technique works for everyone. But did we make change in all of those people's lives and all of those animals' lives? Yes, absolutely. And I stand by that. This is powerful when we make the connection between how we're thinking and feeling and how our animals are behaving or what's going on with their health. And when we take a stand and say, you know what, I want to help my animal, so I'm going to help myself first, that's when real transformation happens. And I get to be a part of that. And it has just been the best year. And I can't wait for this year ahead and all the other animals I'm going to meet and the people and the changes and the transformations I get to witness. So thank you to all of you who watch my content and participate in some way and listen to these transformations and listen to me chat about all of this. And thank you to those who allowed me to be part of their journey. This has been a wonderful year, and I can't wait to see where we go in 2025.